How's it going, everybody? Luke Buckley here with Joe Marino, Cautiously Optimistic Podcast, and let's give him a special introduction. Our good friend from the Charging Buffalo, Mr. DJ Mitchell, is here. DJ, how are you?
Hello, everyone.
We obviously
feeling good. It's a big night.
It is. Draft Lottery. I'm checking out my I'm checking out my Twitter. We're live. We're live on Twitter. We're live on Twitter. We're live on my Twitter. We could ostensibly be live on your guys' Twitter too, if you retweet it. So gonna be a good time. 9 minutes now before the NHL Draft Lottery kicks off. How we feeling?
I'm feeling lucky.
Oh,
are they gonna pull it off? What do you guys
think?
Yeah. 2%. I mean, it's the only way. Yeah. I don't. I mean, honestly, I think the conversation. I got into it earlier with some people. It's like if we don't get 3, which is very likely, what do we do with probably 13? And I was like, we should trade it. And I was getting a lot of pushback on that. So I was actually wondering what your guys' thoughts are if we stay at 13. I mean, are we drafting there? I know there's prospects that I'm sure you guys are into, but what are your overall thoughts? I mean, is it time to stop adding to this prospect pool?
That's a good question. I hadn't thought about that, actually.
I think around deadline time, I was all for trading it, but I guess it just depends on what's available around the draft. Like if there's a great young defenseman, like 23 years old, available, yeah, by all means, trade the pick. But I guess it just depends on what's available,
Yeah, if you can make
to me, it's like the 13th pick. Oh, sorry.
Oh no, I was gonna say, if you can make like the proverbial Ryan O'Reilly trade, then possibly,
But a defenseman.
Yeah. Something that can.
You add another high-end winger.
Pick is.
No, you go ahead, DJ. You're our guest.
It's the value. Yeah, I was gonna say. To me, it's like the value of the 13th overall pick immediately evaporates once you make the selection. It's like getting a new pack of cards, and you're like, you open it, and now the value's gone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Kind of like,
yeah.
I don't know. It's like if you think you've got the guy, but once you get to that spot, when you're on the clock, that is when it will not have more value until this player comes to fruition. So you have years, probably. I mean, it's very unlikely the next year this player is going to be valuable. So you're talking at least 2 to 3 years. It's like, when do you want to open the window? And when do you say the window's open? Because if it's open now, do you need this pick in 2 or 3 years? And I get, you could get into the cap, with Aline and all the other guys that are going to come up. You need that kind of cheap asset, but do you even know what's going to get there? So I don't know. I find it like a really interesting theory to like go into more about where the Sabres are at. Because if you believe in this team's ability, and what my point was, you get to the playoffs, Seattle and Florida right now looking like the cup final. It's like, why not just get in? Like, why not try to ensure you just get in when we know how random it can be? But I get at the same token, like, you're going to start shipping off these assets for guys that come in now that might not be useful in 3 years. Well, what if you're not ready in 3 years? I mean, what if you just Toronto it up? So I don't know. It's tough.
Yes. No, that's very true. Cause I've always kind of thought of the merits of that, right? Like the potential pick that you don't know what it will be is like a lot more valuable than what the pick might actually be. So yeah, you do raise a very good point there. I wonder if they'd look into that.
I think they would do it. Yeah, presumably they were gonna give it up in the Chychrun trade, right? Because they were in it till the very end.
I would imagine, yeah.
Unless the ask was just one of their high-end forward prospects and not a first-round pick. But I imagine this year's first-round pick was on the table. So they're not going to trade it for a forward, I don't think. I think the forwards they have, I think they're just going to roll with it again. But if a solid 24-year-old defenseman that they either have under control for several years or is on an entry-level contract, something like that, I would move that pick in a heartbeat.
To me, it's like all the guys or the teams that make sense. It's almost like there isn't a perfect fit. So I think like San Jose, their window's not open. It probably, unless they get Bedard, we're going to find out. Let's say they don't. well, Mario Ferraro makes sense, but you're giving up 13 for Ferraro. I can't
No way.
imagine that's the case. So it's like, who is the guy on the team that might be looking to push the can down the road a few years? And defense, it gets real thin, I think, real fast. So it definitely has to be a perfect storm. Adam's made it very clear. It's like, I want young team controlled assets. So those are hard to find. I think Matt Tkachuk was the guy that I'm just, I'm forever going to think the Sabres should have been the team to get him, and they probably were in on it. So we'll see. But that's, I think, like, going to be the talking point for most of WGR and everything leading up to the draft. It's like, all right, there's a few guys here, but what is this team now? So I don't know. It'd be interesting.
I've got a name. I've got a name for you guys.
Okay.
Rasmus Anderson on Calgary. He'd be the guy.
Good player.
He's got like four more years left at like
awesome.
$5 million, something like that. That'd be perfect. And he's young too. He's like 26.
We're 4 minutes away.
Are they gonna rebuild?
Yeah. If they rebuild, you never know. But he's a name I like.
We're closing in on this thing, so I do just want to point out, in case anyone doesn't know, Sabres can only jump 10 spots. So different rules this year for those of whom maybe not too caught up. These rules change every year. I wonder what's going to be next year. They're going to make some kind of unnecessary change.
We're
NHL,
2 years,
the
2
NHL
years
did
in a row.
Really
Worst
bad
team
job
number one
on that.
Yeah.
Like the NHL literally posted the graphic with the Sabres as 2%. It had no. I saw multiple people quote tweeting that, like, "Oh, so the Sabres can get one." I'm like, no.
Are you surprised that they screwed that up?
But
are you surprised that they screwed that up?
No.
Status quo.
No, not at all. They screw up everything. Yeah, that's how it goes. But alas, here we are. I'm so excited to see where this pick ends up, because it's going to be I feel like there's no way it doesn't turn into a conspiracy. Like, it's going to be a thing. It's going to cause a lot of friction. I can already tell.
Yeah.
It's not going to be Anaheim. And like, I would love it. It's not going to be Anaheim. It's going to be Chicago, Montreal, Detroit's going to jump up. Something stupid's going to happen today. And I'm so excited to see it.
I should have thrown on my Naslund era Canucks Orca jersey.
Oh man.
See if,
okay,
I do have a
3
Pedersen.
minutes away. Do we have predictions?
I'm wearing
Oh yeah, there we go. We gotta see that.
We're ready.
Yeah.
Yeah. I made this in about 4 minutes with masking tape. It looks real bad, but I had to do it for the bit.
Did you do that between the time we sent you the link here and coming on?
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, I literally thought, I was like, who should I go with? Did I go with the Canucks or I was like, oh, my Ducks jersey. I honestly didn't get this designed yet on purpose. I'm gonna get it customized eventually, but I'm like,
who are you gonna get on it?
This could actually be a fun one to get Bedard if he goes there.
Yeah,
I should just get Korea, but
yeah, Korea's the ultimate guy.
I think Shigeru may have worn it.
Geehy Bear may have, I think, or however you say it.
That's what
the goalie. So there you go.
Shigeru.
Yeah,
JS Shigeru.
I can't. Niedermeyer maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I brought about 8 jerseys into that place in Buffalo. I can't remember what it's called now, but that place was cool. I went in there. It was a cool. Have you ever been there? The A and what the heck's it called?
I think
AW Sports or AES Sports or whatever. It's out in Depew. I went in there and there were, oh my God, they were designing so many cool jerseys. I saw a Devin Levi autographed one getting put on. I was like, how did you get the letter? I don't know.
Where is this
excited
place?
though. It's in Depew.
Okay, so that's right near us. That's right near Joe and I.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out.
Look it up.
Hey, it says we have wow. I'm just looking at the numbers on my account right now. It says 488 views. That could just be people passing through, but four viewers right now. So
we've got 9 on our podcast Twitter account. 9.
Oh, beautiful. There. Okay, yeah. So whatever it is, this is our first time doing it. So thank you everybody very much for tuning in. If there's any technical difficulties, please bear with us. Because this is only our second time even using the video recording tool that we're using, the site that we're using. So yeah, thank you very much for being here and sticking around with us. It's 8:00. They're showing a feature on Connor Bedard right now. Yeah. We will at risk of being shut down. If you're wondering why the name of this stream is hello, and the description is hello, we don't want to lead anybody to our account necessarily that, any
snitches get stitches.
Any snitches, that's right. Snitches, that's right. So we will be watching it live. We will be seeing Bill Daly or whoever it is flipping the card, and we'll see it. Maybe we'll have some
We don't want too many people watching live though, where this gets exposed.
Yeah.
Only the diehard.
Well, it's not on you guys.
Right.
You guys heard about the one site that tried to do this, and they're like, do not use any proprietary information, and like that was everyone streamed the Super Bowl on it. I can't remember what site it was now because it already got shut down, but it's not on you guys. It's just on the website. Like they can't let you do that. That's why.
True.
Yeah.
The NFL actually cares, but yeah, we were going to do that. We've done the watch playback, which is great, but you have to get on early because people have to log into their providers. They can watch with you, but they have to log in. So that works pretty well too. I could show you guys that. We did it for a couple playoff games, watch alongs, but again, it's not in Canada, which sucks for hockey. It's coming, they keep telling us, for like a year now. But yeah, if you have like YouTube TV, you just log in and you're watching with us.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
Very nice.
It's pretty cool.
I think all my tabs are reloading right now. It's scaring me because like my screen is going white. I'm trying to reload my Spectrum app.
All right, before Bill Daly starts flipping those cards, let's make a prediction. Who's getting number 1?
Arizona.
Oh man, it'd be fun, but at the same time,
I would personally.
How embarrassing.
Yeah,
I would like it. I feel like Arizona. I actually tweeted about this today. Arizona's not as bad as people think. Like it really isn't. Like they have pieces. They have Gunther. They have Geeky coming in. They have freaking Cooley. They already have a top line that was legitimately an NHL high quality top line. Their defense is bad. Their goaltending's bad. I think Bedard makes them relevant, but at what cost? And he's still in Arizona.
Right.
I'll go San Jose. That's who I want. I'm just going to go with it. I think the Sharks would be a lot of fun. And I think that this would give them a boost right back into contention pretty quickly. I don't think they're quite as bad as their season. They had that huge fall off. They traded some guys that were valuable. They got some injuries, and Carlson just couldn't carry the load enough. So I think they could actually bounce back decently quickly. So that'd be my pick.
Oh, God. Oh, no, we might have a disaster here. My screen is white. Maybe the NHL heard us. Nothing. My screen is not loading. I do still have you guys, though, so that's a good thing. But,
maybe we're not allowed to share it while we're live streaming.
Well, no, like I can't even we're still live. I can't even, I can't even see my screen.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. So, oh well. I'm scared to press the escape button. Yeah, I don't know. I just think Arizona.
Yes.
I don't think it's going to be any. It's no tomfoolery type thing. It's just I think
if there was tomfoolery in the lottery, Connor McDavid would be an Arizona Coyote right now.
I can check.
Yes. My prediction, I think the Columbus Blue Jackets are going to win. They're going to get Connor Bedard. I can feel it. I'm rooting for the Canucks, though. They have the longest odds to get him, but hometown boy, going to play for his favorite team growing up. I can see that. That'd be fun.
Yeah, they did a real good job of shooting that chance right in the foot as hard as possible. They were like, let's hire a new coach and be boring and get very bad lottery odds. And they nailed it. That was their idea.
Yeah, but I don't know what happened.
We'll see.
They looked like a bottom 3 team early on, but they played themselves out of pretty good shot at it. But good on them. They don't want to do a full-on rebuild, as teams do.
We're
still waiting on Luke, but if you're watching live, we appreciate you. Bear with us with the technical difficulties because this is a first for us. The Sabres can move up, total of 10 spots from 13. They can pick third. They've never picked third overall in their entire history. So 2%.
Who do you want at third?
Yeah, I was just going to ask you. I think it's between Matvei Michkov and Leo Carlsson. I think I would go with Michkov just because the ceiling, but also there's the contract risk. But if you're the Sabres, there's no other team that can pick him and not have to worry about it like the Sabres can. They can just let him go play in Russia for 2-3 more years, however long it is. And, he comes in, entry-level contract, you got a top 6 forward because they're just that deep at forward. So I think he'd be my pick, but I'd be happy either way.
Yeah, I think it's got to be a team like the Sabres at 3 or Mitchkov's going to slide because GMs are just so risk adverse. They're just not going to be able, you can't wait around for 3 years when you're going to get fired in 2. You know what I mean? So I think if it ends up being maybe San Jose gives Greer some wiggle room, but a lot of these teams, I think you're on the chopping block. You got to go with Will Smith or Carlson because you just can't wait. So I agree. I think I'd take Mitchkov at 3 if he got up there. But I think he slips to 4 or 5. I think my final mock will have him lower than most just because GMs are cowards and they will never stop being cowards. And it's going to, if it's Chicago, what are you going to do? You're going to wait for this guy with, attendance dwindling. You get the 3rd pick, for example, you're just going to, okay, we're not going to see this guy for 3 years. No chance. You know what I mean? So we will see. It does look like it's somewhat starting. So we're going to find out quickly. But yeah, I think I want him if it happens at the 13 spot. I mean, it's so hard at this point, I think, to judge. I've seen so many different scenarios, but there's really only one right-hand defenseman, right? That's kind of wiggling around that area.
Yeah, there's David Reinbacher, Austrian right shot D, played in the Swiss League, and then there's also Axel Sandin Pellikka. So two right-handed defensemen. I think they're both going to go in the top 10. So, but if either of them are available at pick 13, you got to pick them. But we'll see. I don't think they trade up. The Sabres have traded up a couple of times, but maybe once. They trade up for Peterka, but I just can't see them trading up at this point. We're still waiting on Luke. I don't know what's going on.
I think they hold on. Yeah. Hello. I think Kevin Adams will hold on to the pick to the last minute. There he is. All right. Well, we're about to find out any second now. Is it working? Because I have it up on my phone, so at least I can sort of.
Yes, sir. There's no echo for you guys, right?
No. We're good.
Okay. Cool. There must be on my end, but I can deal with that. Cool. I had to get creative. All right. Thank you for holding it down while I was away there. Okay. Well, I'm not going to throw it on the screen just yet. We have Kevin Weeks talking. I don't know. What do you guys think? Should I throw it up?
Yeah, throw it up there. Who cares?
All right. Oh, hang on. I might have to go here. All right. Oh, yeah. They're showing the war rooms right now. Let me just bring this up one more time, just so I have just so I don't have another screen freezing problem. Showing kind of. Oh, okay.
Do you guys remember the McEichel?
What's that?
Oh,
yeah, I see.
I remember it like it was yesterday.
I was gonna say, you guys remember the McEichel? Yeah, I was actually, I went out to Ithaca for a concert, and it was that night was in between 2 shows. And I just remember being with all these guys that were club hockey guys at Ithaca. We were freaking out. It was so much fun. I do miss that, but I'd rather have a winning team. But that was the best night, and it did suck to not get McDavid, but whatever.
Brought the lucky horseshoe out from my
it should be on a basement. But it was a Saturday night. It was a Saturday night. It should be Saturday night. It should always be on Saturday. Why is it on Monday? The NHL once again is you had the standalone game on Saturday. I guess the Kentucky Derby, but
here we go.
I just don't get it. I don't understand.
Now this will be over before 8:30, so because that's when the game starts. Didn't they do it? In years past, didn't they do it at intermission at one of the games?
I think so. The Dahlin year, they did a cliffhanger.
Yeah. I'm playing around here with their layout. There we go. That looks better.
I hope they don't do that this time, but if that does happen, we'll be on the scene. We'll be covering it, so stay tuned. I don't know if anyone is commenting on the stream just yet. On our side of things, we don't see anything, but if you're watching, feel free to comment if you have any questions regarding the lottery, drafts, Sabres off season, anything. We'll answer it live, but we're patiently waiting. Bill Daly flipping those cards.
Yeah, so are they going to do this quicker than normal? is what I want to know. Like, how many breaks are we going to take during this? How many commercial breaks?
I feel like one break. They'll
Yeah.
take one break right before they reveal the top two.
Exactly. Yeah, right before the big reveal.
2 years in a row, the worst team in the league has gotten first overall, though. So let's see if Anaheim wins it again for
Something's gotta
the worst
give.
team in the league.
Something's got to give.
I feel
think.
like if it's not the number one, the worst team, it's like some craziness, like when Philly won in 2017 to move up to second, or Carolina when they got Svechnikov. So hopefully that's the Sabres moving up to 3. I really haven't spent a ton of time mulling over the Sabres moving up big to 3. I just think it'd be awesome how you finish the season so strong, you almost make the playoffs, and you get the 3rd overall pick. It'd be just like a nice cherry on top.
Yeah.
You know?
What can they get for that pick?
Oh man, I don't even know.
They trade. I was kidding. Okay. Oh,
That'd be. God, I can't imagine.
We're gonna find out super fast here. No.
Okay,
so we have
stay off
rules.
Twitter. I think we're a little delayed here. Stay off Twitter.
Okay. Yeah, everyone. Yeah. If you want the full experience, stick with us here. Do you guys want me to boost the audio? I'm building the audio a little bit.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Let's go for it.
As we reveal the results of tonight's draft lottery.
That's good.
With that, let's get it started. The number 16 overall selection in the 2023 NHL Draft belongs to Calgary Flames.
Okay.
Calgary did not have a first-round pick last year, but they will be picking 16th overall for the 4th time in franchise history.
Staying put.
The number 15 overall selection in the 2023 NHL Draft belongs to the Nashville Predators.
This will be GM David Poile's last draft representing the franchise since its inception. Former head coach Barry Trotz will be taking over GM duties in July.
I'm more nervous than I should be.
Me too.
The number 14 overall selection in the 2023 NHL Draft belongs to the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Okay. All right.
3 or 13.
Had a 16-season playoff run and saw that come to an end. But the upside is they'll be picking 14th, and they have a top 15 pick for the first time in a little over a decade.
The number 13 overall selection in the 2023 NHL Draft belongs to the Buffalo Sabres.
Damn it.
Major
Too sad.
improvements in Western New York for the Sabres.
Damn.
That's all right.
What are you going to do?
Fine.
What are you going
They'll
to
be
do?
fine.
History, and the first time since they selected Zach Kassian in 2000.
Man, I was
2% chance.
A miracle.
Almost.
The number 12 overall selection in the 2023 NHL Draft belongs to the Ottawa Senators.
Okay.
As
Okay, at least they didn't win.
Since this pick isn't a top 5 pick, the selection transfers to Arizona, and as a condition of the Jacob Chikrin trade,
okay.
the Coyotes will be selecting 12 for the 4th time in franchise history.
The number 11 overall selection
Now
in
we're
the
into it.
2023 NHL Draft belongs to the Vancouver Canucks.
Oh,
Patrick Alvin
All right.
will be heading his second draft for Vancouver in the
there you go.
West. This is the last time that the Canucks had
They screwed themselves.
overall, which was way back in 1982.
All right.
All right. We're in business now.
The number 10 overall selection in the 2023 NHL Draft belongs to the St. Louis Blues.
Okay. All right.
The St. Louis Blues will have 3 first-round picks.
Oh, baby.
Who needs them?
For the first time since 2007.
The number 9 overall selection in the 2023 NHL Draft belongs to the Detroit Red Wings.
The last time they had the 9th overall pick in Motown was back in 2017.
As long as the immediate
Did not want them getting it.
Yeah. They don't look thrilled.
Yeah, not the Red Wings. That would have sucked. They're so bad. They should be bad. Let them be bad.
Belongs to the Washington Capitals.
All right.
Their
Wow.
season playoff run came to an end with the 8th overall pick. They will have, though, the top 10 selection.
People wanted to see Ovi and Bedard. I get it, but I don't know.
The number 7 overall selection in the 2023 NHL Draft belongs to the Philadelphia
Good.
Flyers.
All right.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
Goche, 5th overall last year. The Flyers will be selecting
Sorry, Daniel.
for the 5th time in franchise history.
The number 6 overall selection in the
please no.
2023 NHL
Tough month
draft
for
belongs to
Daniel.
Here we go.
Arizona
Here we go.
Coyotes.
Last year, the Coyotes had 3 first-round selections.
Goodbye,
led by
Arizona.
American Logan
Wow.
Cooley at
Chaos.
overall.
Not
Cooley
happening.
selecting 6th overall for the first time since
Oh,
taking
man.
Ekman Larson in 09.
All right, now it's time. It's
The
rigged.
Montreal-
It's rigged. Here we
Montreal.
go.
Selection in the 2023 NHL
Oh, boy.
draft belongs to
Oh, beautiful.
Okay.
Okay.
Last year, Le
Wow.
Canadiens
No, it's not rigged. The NHL is no longer rigged for
Yuri
sure. We get.
Slafkowski, first
He's
overall.
out west. Unless
There
it's
is no
Columbus.
more-
He's out west.
The last time they had the 5th
Yeah.
overall pick is when they
Oh,
took
all
franchise
right. Well,
ace in
McDavid has a
goal,
rival for
Carey Price.
years.
All right, please say Chicago. Please say Chicago.
Oh, my God.
NHL draft belongs to
Punish them.
Oh, no.
This will be Mike Greer's second
No.
Poor
GM. They have never selected 4th overall. But
Damn
they
it.
Chicago
for the
gets
first
Bedard,
time
you gotta
since
be kidding me.
19
Anywhere but Chicago. Oh my God.
You go through all those years of winning, and you just get
And
that
there is
cherry
our first change
on
in the
top.
order, with Columbus dropping to 3rd. So now either Anaheim
All right, yep.
or Chicago
As we
will select
predicted,
1st overall.
the final 3,
Anaheim has never selected 1st overall.
they will go
And
to
the last
commercial
time
break.
Chicago drafted
We
number
won't show
1
the ads.
was when they took future
Anaheim or
defender
Chicago?
Patrick Kane. We'll be back.
There's Connor
after this.
McDavid.
Connor McDavid and the Edmonton
I hate this.
All right, we'll bring that back up in a minute.
Yeah.
So
that's
no surprises so far,
Man.
unless you consider the fact that nobody moved up.
Yeah. Wait. Did
being
they?
a surprise?
Yeah. Did they just say Columbus dropped like very casually?
Yeah,
there?
I didn't-
that's what
I didn't
thought
see that.
heard.
I
They were
didn't
like,
see
Columbus
that.
will not be.
I don't know what happened.
What?
Did they make
Yeah,
a
like, they
mistake?
just like.
Oh my! Did Buchagros say something he shouldn't have? It wouldn't surprise me.
Someone did. I mean, I don't know. Someone did. But then,
Okay,
yeah,
people
Elliot
on
tweeted
Twitter
that
are
it's either
saying-
Anaheim, Chicago, or Columbus.
People are saying they didn't show the Columbus reveal. Okay, well, I hope he's going to Anaheim.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people
I-
say.
I do not want to see Connor Bedard in Chicago. That's just
No.
nightmare fuel. But Chicago, they're going to get a center, Adam Fantilli or Bedard. So that's a building
Yeah.
block either way for
Well,
either team.
So now that we have 13, if the Sabres were to pick there, who do you guys think would be the pick?
I think Czech winger Edward Schala is the guy. The Sabres, they like their Europeans. He just screams Sabres-y pick. Adams has been here long enough where you can kind of get like a nice prediction going. Besides that, I'm not really sure. I think Matthew Wood, American winger, compared to Tage Thompson by Craig Button, I don't really see that. But maybe a winger with size. A defenseman would be ideal. I like Dmitry Simishev, a Russian defenseman. He's left-handed, but I don't really care. But defense is ideal, but I think Czech winger Edward Schala will be the guy if he's there.
I really think like I look at the names. I'm just looking at them again. It's like one of these guys is going to drop to us between the 2 defensemen you named. I mean, is Perreault, is he in that range? You think of like probable top 10? But you go through the names. It's like someone's going to fall. Yeah. I don't know. I really want. I think I want the right handy. I want to say his name wrong, but I think it's David Reinbacher.
Reinbacher,
that's
yeah,
probably the guy. But it feels boring. But I'm fine with it. I mean, I don't know a ton about him. I've never watched him play or anything, and maybe I'm just trying to fit a need that
he's rock
is sort of there, but how there is it? I don't know.
Don't second guess yourself. He's great.
So
I think just like, you go through the names. Like I think there's a good 15 guys. It's like someone's gonna fall a 13.
Yeah.
Let's take this time to maybe hype up the annual draft booklet that you guys put out and contribute to. Charge and Buffalo always does a great job with the draft coverage. Should be dropping, I don't know, soon, relatively soon. I mean, what are we, a month and a half?
For the draft.
Yeah, sometime before the draft. So you have all the info you'll need on everybody available to the Sabres in there. We're back from break now. I'm going to.
Before you put that back on, I will say this though: a lot of people just assume that one of those 2 right shot D are going to be available for the Sabres. I wouldn't hold your breath. Defensemen always go higher than expected. Every year since like 2003, a defenseman has gone in the top 5. Every year, like clockwork. I don't think this year will be no different. Someone's going to go high, and whoever's... there we go.
All
right.
In the Buckeye State in Columbus, Ohio.
Oh, okay.
Oh boy.
Pick 3. All right, it is official.
Watch parties are going nuts so far. You can see
the good mojo has been brought by DJ.
That are going bonkers, and on the left, that is the scene, and it is set now for the final 2. Anaheim Ducks general manager Pat Verbeek, and on the left, general manager of the Chicago Blackhawks, Kyle Davidson. Without further ado, Deputy Commissioner Bill Daly, take it away.
The first overall selection in the 2023 NHL Draft belongs to the Chicago Blackhawks.
Oh!
You've got to be kidding me.
Number 2, the Anaheim Ducks.
That's garbage.
Bedlam in Chicago.
It's the worst league in the world.
Fans high-fiving on their feet, going nuts as they should be. You can see the smiles on the face of their general manager, Kyle Davidson, who certainly has to be enthusiastic about this great news for their franchise, and of course, their...
Wow. That's all I got to say. Wow.
I think we're all disappointed there.
Anybody but Chicago. I guess it's better than Montreal.
Zegras with Bedard.
That's
now what do we get? Who does Chicago have left? It's going to be years.
Never mind.
Ripping the impromptu jersey off. It's going to be years before we get to see this guy in the playoffs.
Yeah, they really have nothing. Quite honestly, I don't know. They've got Lucas Reichel.
It's such a...
But, ugh.
It's like, I get that you could almost say, okay, the Sabres did do the same thing Chicago did here, trying to get McDavid. But everything else that Chicago's done, I mean, I don't think I need to get into it. They absolutely, had one of the worst stories to come out about the franchise in a long time. Mm-hmm. It's just like, that just adds to it. I get that some people may say today, it's like, yeah, the Sabres tore it down to the same degree to get McDavid, but it's not about that to me. Like, I don't care. You want to do that? All the power to you. I respect that the Blackhawks did that. It's everything else for me. Just that organization should be lit on fire.
They, don't deserve it after the last 2 years that they've had.
Man.
And this just means more Chicago on national TV.
Right.
As if we're not sick of that enough.
Are people calling for it being rigged yet? Let's see.
I don't know. Check that out. Joe, you mentioned this before we went on. DJ, I think what we want to do is we're going to go through the Sabres history of picking at number 13. So I can bring that up, actually. We'll have to do a little scrolling here. But
they said it on the broadcast. Most recently, it was Zach Kassian.
Yes.
In 2009.
So let me try and
almost worked.
Enlarge this a bit. Might be a little tough here. There we go. I'll put us up there. Might be a little hard to see if you're on YouTube, or maybe not for full screen. But yeah, so Zach Kassian, would that have been
2009? I think it was 2009.
Right? Yeah. So yeah, Zach Kassian.
I remember I loved him when he came in. I mean, he was honestly good for like 1.5 years. I feel like it does get overshadowed because of how bad he was after that, and then the trade with Hodgson and everything. But he rocked for like a couple of years. It was like, this guy could be Tom Wilson, and then he just fell off. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to accuse of anything, but I mean, obviously there were drug related problems. He went to rehab. He was open about that. So glad he got back on his feet. But that, I really think it could have worked. It's sad to see. I really was optimistic for him. And McNabb and honestly, it was a good draft.
Look at that. Braden McNabb.
I loved McNabb. Was like, I loved him as a prospect. He was unreal. And
that's a great draft.
No, we'll see him in about 20 minutes.
There was a few years around this time where I feel like the Sabres always used to pick at 13. I don't know why. That's just the number I always remember from when I was little. 12, kind of in the area.
They were what this is what Vancouver is now. Like, this is exactly what Vancouver became. And like, they looked at the Sabres in this era and were like, we could do that. And it didn't work.
Straight 13th overall picks. Marek Zagerpan, look at this impressive stat line, and Drew Stafford the year prior.
Chris Baker at Sabres Prospects brings up a good point. In 2008, the Sabres had the 13th overall pick, but they traded up one spot to get Tyler Myers.
Oh, well, there we go. So, yep, see, that plays right into my theory there.
So they would have had an 04, 05, 08, and 09.
Yeah.
How much of a genius move was that at the time? I mean, he comes into the league, wins Rookie of the Year. They're just probably like, what, the best trade up in history. And then
and the guy the Kings picked never played. Crazy.
Philippe Boucher in 1991. Also
another big goon.
He played.
Let me see.
Yeah.
Philippe Boucher, good little career. How about that? 748 games played for.
Colton Tubert was the guy that the Kings picked. Colton Tubert.
Never heard of him. Yeah, I guess Tyler Myers for the win.
Yeah.
Yeah, what a draft that is.
Joel Savage in 1988. Rob Ray drafted this year too.
Swing and a miss.
3 games played.
Yeah, McGillney may have been the better guy in the 5th round.
Look at this, 1983, 3 first-round picks. Tom Barrasso.
Oh,
that was a hit. Norm Lacombe and Adam Creighton. Lots of games played, but not a lot of impact. Keep scrolling here, running out of drafts. Larry Playfair was a 13th overall selection.
Okay.
Obviously a big-time member of the Sabres alumni operations. That is all the times the Sabres have picked 13th.
That's gonna do it.
So
there's just a sour taste in my mouth after that. All that winning Chicago's done over the years, and they finally start to be bad again. And now you got one of the best prospects that come along in the last decade. Come on. This is sad.
Yeah. This reminds me,
happened with Pittsburgh too.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. This is the Pittsburgh thing. They won all throughout the 90s, sucked for 4 years, won the lottery, and then they were nice again. I was going to use the Golden State Warriors thing where they were hurt for a couple of years, fell to the bottom, and now they're back and could win another championship this year.
Boo. That's all I got to say.
Yeah. I mean, I really don't think that Chicago. I remember when Crosby came in, that team still absolutely stunk for a couple of years, and they had actual players still on that roster. And I mean, it's not going to turn over overnight. You just kind of, honestly, I would say this is the worst case scenario for Bedard. Heavy spotlight, very, very bad team around him. They have cap space. They have a couple guys and a couple prospects. I mean, it's not like it can't turn over in due time, but you think he's really he's got to be 5 years out on making the playoffs, unless it's something dramatic happens.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Will this speed anything up? Maybe for Chicago is what I
think you stay the course.
A little bit, sure.
So different.
I think you stay the course.
He's got to play.
It's essentially the same spot the Sabres were in 2015. Do you in this scenario, you got Macklin Celebrini next year, and in 2015 the Sabres had Austin Matthews the next year. In hindsight, probably are thinking, okay, maybe you should have pumped the brakes a little bit and had your eyes on the prize the next year in Matthews or Laine, and instead you got Alex Nylander. So I bet the Blackhawks just kind of pump the brakes, continue their process, keep drafting, and they go for a Macklin Celebrini or Cole Iserman next year.
Man, DJ, what you said, it really is so much like the Penguins. Just
it
the
is
whole
identical.
situation.
It is so funny. Like,
I can't stop thinking about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
I really, really think like if you were to like rate all the teams by what is the worst case for Bedard, and I know that like Chicago's a great spot for him, so his brand might be in good shape, but like on the ice, he's just going to have the worst team around him for probably the longest in the spotlight. And I think that's just not what you want. I do think that I think he's a different breed. I mean, like I heard this guy talking about how he's never tried fast food. Just like, yeah, I never did that. Like I think he's just a different level of compete level. I mean, he's carrying that team through the playoffs, and I do think that like it just doesn't matter. Like I don't think he's gonna like I'm not saying he's gonna fail. Yeah, I'm not saying that at all. Like he's still gonna be a generational talent, which I do think we throw around too much, but I just don't think he make like you think like the needle that he pushes needs to be pushed like 80 times more than one player could push in a short span. So I don't know what they're going to do because even their expensive players are bad. Like name one player on the team this year other than Lucas Reichel that's like actually really good at hockey. Like you could argue Seth Jones, and I would say like
he's
maybe,
the only one.
I don't know. And like he seems like he needs to be propped up. Like he's good, but I do think he needs support, and he did not have it. And like that wasn't. I mean, what's their top prospect?
Frank Nazar, Kevin Korchinski.
Yeah.
They had 3 first-round picks last year.
Korchinski and Nazar. I mean, how?
Sam Rinzel.
Yeah, I mean, what did any of those guys like? I mean, do you believe any of those guys right now are like clearly top end NHL players? Like, I feel like none of them made a huge step. I don't know. I guess I didn't follow. It's hard.
They're
to
really
know.
good. I wouldn't say
this team is just.
I wouldn't say they're like franchise-changing talents, but I think they're going to be key players for them when it's all said and done. I really like Nazar. He was one of the guys that I would have loved the Sabres to pick last year with any of those 3 firsts. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, did he go? It was a couple before.
Yeah, I think he went like 12.
I mean, there is 13th. One, maybe 2 guys. Yeah. Because I remember thinking like, man, if he could slip, that would be great. But do you guys remember who I was all in for?
I don't remember. Who was it?
You went to Nashville. I was.
Oh yeah, I remember.
For Kamel. I was just like, I will do anything for this man. He looks good. We'll see. I mean, we will see. He looked good. He got the call overseas to come over, and he's in the organization now. But this team is useless. Completely useless. I mean, name one guy on this roster that you're looking at right now that's like going to be there.
Taylor Radish had a sneaky good year.
Bad.
Yeah.
20 goals.
Yeah.
Wow.
He has really good finishing, but like very bad play generation. So he really relied on just his like shot volume was super bad because he was sort of like a DFS guy that you'd notice because he'd get power play role, but like he like trying to think of a good comparison. Like honestly, kind of like Victor Olofsson, really. Like he just doesn't really. Like, he might be better defensively, but he just never really generates the play himself. He kind of just finishes it. I mean, what was the shooting percentage like 15%? Yeah, it's just like
they've just got nothing.
Man, a lot of these guys like aren't even going to be there anymore next year, or they were traded at the deadline that we're looking at right here.
That's just brutal.
Like, Max Domi's gone, right?
Yeah,
wasn't he a deadline
he's on Dallas.
Trade?
Yeah, he's on Dallas.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be a much different looking team. This is a win, though, for the NHL needs to promote its players better. Because just by merit of it being Chicago.
Yeah.
He's going to be
the NHL is thrilled at the outcome of this lottery. Yeah. 100%. It's like, I bet NHL, they wanted McDavid in Buffalo. When Bill Daley flipped that card over 8 years ago and it was the Edmonton Oilers, the NHL had to have been furious. But Bedard's going to a good market. They can throw him on ESPN Plus. They're going to have lots of games. Maybe not next year, but eventually.
It's another face you can market.
Yeah. And let's not forget Anaheim. They won the lottery, even though they slipped back.
Yeah.
They're picking second. Adam Fantilli's, they're getting an NHL ready player. So they're getting a really great prospect. He's going to probably step in right away and contribute for them. They've got Zegras, McTavish, now Fantilli. You would assume they're going to pick him at least. They're going to be really good eventually.
Man, that's just
probably
the thing.
soon.
It's like the players he could have played with right away. They would have been right in the running if they got it.
Yeah. I think so too. That sucks. I mean, they're definitely on the back end are real, real weak, but they have guys coming in. Drysdale got hurt. So, yeah, I think it would have been that would have been a home run for at least, I mean, obviously Anaheim, but I think Bedard as well. I think that was probably his best case scenario. You could argue Columbus would have been really good too, because at least there's like some pieces in place, but
they had
Chicago
injuries too.
I mean, it's the worst team. Like, yeah, I think there was a lot of better landing spots, but man, this was the best for the league, the worst for the player. And luckily, like I'm saying, I think he's so talented and so committed, and I can't imagine. Just his brain is just different. Like I said, I listening to him talk about that stuff, I'm like, this guy's a different breed. So I think he'll just come in and be amazing still, and eventually get them there. But it's going to take time. And as we learned with Eichel, some players don't want to wait. And I mean, it could get ugly, but I just kind of doubt it. I mean, I don't know.
That's a good point.
He did it in juniors. He willed a very mediocre Regina Pats team to the playoffs in general. Like, they were gonna trade him, but he didn't want to leave to go elsewhere. So he willed that team in the playoffs, a very mediocre team, and they almost did some damage. So you never know. Maybe he'll do that.
And that's avoid playoffs.
Yeah. So we'll see. You gotta assume they're gonna have to bring in some guys. They can't just ice this dumpster fire of a team. I mean, they tore it down to get him, so you got the prize. Maybe you start building, but I wouldn't expect them to be making Tim Murray moves, trading first round picks and high end prospects to get good right away. They're going to stay the course, but they're not going to try and be the worst team in the league next year.
I wonder. Oh, let me motorcycle going by my house. Go figure. I wonder if this kind of has a ripple effect maybe in Anaheim too. Do you think this affects John Gibson? Maybe if he wants to stay there more. Do you think he was thinking about that at all? Was the team thinking about that at all? If Bedard got there, are they instantly more competitive?
Apparently, Pat Verbeek told season ticket holders at like a luncheon that he's not trading John Gibson. So
okay,
he's probably staying, but
yeah. I think he has not been good enough either to really like bolster that out. I mean, he's still expensive.
Yeah.
I had a lot of faith in John Gibson going into the past couple of years, like thinking like he's going to find it again. And I just think he is just what he is. He is he can win you a game and he can absolutely fold like a lawn chair. And
great.
Yeah, they're a fun team for a reason. They were one of the most fun teams to watch all year. Like they were the DFS. I mean, obviously you guys know I do a lot of the betting in the DFS, and they were just they would give up every shot possible. They would take every chance, and it is tough to play in that environment, obviously. But John Gibson was a train ride, just either a train wreck or he delivered them to a win that you never expected. But I had a lot of fun with Anaheim this year. And I think everyone in the betting community just loved every time Anaheim was on a slate, because they really could go down as one of the worst defensive seasons ever. It should. Like, it really should with how much they gave up. So they, like I said, they have some woes on the back end. Bedard doesn't solve that, but they have players coming in. Like Drysdale's going to be really good, I think. So
They've gone heavy on D the last couple of seasons. They've got a lot coming. So I think the Ducks are going to be a phenomenal team. I think they would have been a great landing spot for Bedard. But oh well. Pick 13. Here we go.
Fantilli will be really useful there.
Oh, for sure. It's like the Sabres getting Eichel. Fantilli, he had a monster season.
Do you think he's on the same level? Like, you think like it's like that is you really think like it's really not even that far off at all? Like you're saying like I feel like he doesn't feel that way, but it is. And I like watched a lot of the college playoffs. I was obviously gambling on that as well, of course, as any degenerate would. And watching him, I'm like, this guy doesn't belong out there. Like you could just tell. It just every time he's out there, every shot he took, it's like that's a different player. So yeah, I'm excited to see what he can do.
I think he's on a much better team than Eichel had at BU back in the day. It's crazy that you can say back in the day at this point, 8 years ago, but yeah, I think he's just as good of a prospect as Eichel was. Anaheim's getting a dynamite prospect, assuming they pick him. You never know. Maybe they really like Michkov. Who knows?
Yeah, I think if anyone, I mean, honestly, Columbus, I could see them taking Michkov. They've had a lot of Russians that they've gone after in the past.
Right.
And they've jumped up to get some of these guys that are ultra talented, but had the same concerns of like, when will they come over? Honestly, I mean, who was it? Which one was it? Chinnikov, the one that just like announcers didn't even know who he was.
Yeah.
I just think that maybe this could be where they go, unless if they fall in love with, Smith or Carlson. But yeah,
I feel like Carlson.
Yeah, Carlson. I've seen a lot of people talking about Smith now, though.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of Will Smith love, and not the actor.
Who's picking fourth? Is it let me pull up the Sharks.
Right, Sharks.
Yeah, I think so.
Pretty sure.
I'm trying to gauge where Michkov will go. I feel like the Sharks could pick Michkov. They're just starting a rebuild, new GM. There's really no pressure. Like if you're Columbus, Jarmo Kekalainen's been there for over 10 years. He's got to be running on borrowed time at some point. So can you pick a Matvei Michkov and wait 3 years when you've got a pretty close to immediate NHL impact player in Leo Carlson staring you in the face? Same thing with Montreal. Like they want to be good sooner rather than later. Are they going to pick a Matvei Michkov? I don't know. Could he slide down to the Capitals? That's crazy to think, but maybe Arizona picks him. There's really no pressure for them to be good anytime soon. And hell, they're probably going to trade Michkov within the next 10 years to start the cycle all over again.
This is just a question I have for you guys, just out of curiosity, because you're the draft guys. Do you think Arizona stays put with those 2 picks, or do they use that as ammo to maybe move into the top 3?
Yeah, I wouldn't rule it out. They moved up last year. They traded a bunch of picks with the Sharks to get another. Was it top 10? I don't remember. It was definitely top 15 to get Connor Geekie, which I'm not a huge fan of him, but good on the Coyotes for getting their guy, I guess. But I could see it. You got all these picks. Like if there's a guy you really want, there's no other team in better position to get the guy they like,
Yeah.
Yeah, they have, I think it's 8 second-round picks in the next 2 years. It's something insane. I know they have 5 next year. I think they have 3 this year. So I think they have the ammo if they want to use it, but I don't know. I kind of doubt it. I just don't think a team is going to move. Like GMs are cowards. So I think anyone's going to move out of the top 5 is going to be really tough to see, because I do think the top 5 feels pretty solidified. So then you move it up 1 spot? I don't know. You'd have to really wow someone, and it's like, how many second-round picks are you going to give up to move up 3 spots? If they need to add more to that pipeline, I think, too. So I doubt it, but you never know, obviously, with Arizona, because they kind of need to win or they're going to move. It feels like a little bit. Like if attendance doesn't get up soon, maybe they actually do go to Houston. So
that arena vote's coming up.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's next week. So
yeah, that's crazy.
I thought I saw a report somewhere saying that if that doesn't go through, they might be moving as soon as next season.
As soon as next season. I saw that too.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
And Houston has an arena ready. Apparently, the Rockets own. I don't know who the Rockets owner is, the Houston Rockets, but there's been dialogue. So I wonder if the Houston Arrows are coming in next year. I feel like the vote's going to pass.
It really is just. It's Gary Bettman, man. He can't admit when he's wrong. It's amazing. Like, you would think he would have any sort of ability to be like, I messed up. And it doesn't exist. It does not exist. He doesn't like anyone working outside of his rules, and he'll never go back to Quebec because they tried to go around him. And he basically told them to screw themselves forever.
Again.
And it's just like, man, I don't know. This was his love child. I just can't see him giving it up no matter what. And it's failed to an unbelievable degree when it's like actually being talked about on major sports shows where they're like, what's going on in Arizona? It's like, yeah, no, this is really bad, Gary. Maybe relax, give it up. It sailed, but I don't know. I mean, I love that team though. And like, I really, really love the end of the season for them. Like I was it wasn't quite Sabres level, but they were a powerhouse top line. I mean, you look at the analytics behind that top line in the back half of the year, and you're just like, okay, this was a top 3 line in the NHL. It's stupid. Like Barrett Hayton went from, is this guy ever going to make it to,
right?
Is this a top line center? Like,
yeah,
it was actually that good. So I do want this team to succeed, and I like some of those guys. So I don't know. It'll be interesting.
No, that's the thing. Like, it is kind of, it sounds ridiculous, but compared to expectations, like they played their way out of the top 5. And I know like they had a really strong end of the year. I didn't watch many of their games, but I do.
They're a fun team.
Yeah, a good, fun young team. I do remember them winning a lot down the stretch. A fun, underrated goaltender as well.
Karl Vejmelka.
And just back to the relocation thing,
Yeah.
I have an article here. Oh wait, no, wrong one there that I clicked. This is from Canucks Daily. Radek Bong is this guy's name, but he was quote. It was Frank Saravalli who said it on 960. Is that Edmonton? What or might have been in Vancouver? Actually, that's why they prior to recording it. But yeah, according to Saravalli, it would be could be as soon as next year if the vote goes bad. So,
do you guys think hockey could ever work in Arizona? Like, is it a location thing? Is it a combination of where their arena is and also that they just never really have a good team? Like, if this rebuild works for them and they get that arena deal, is there any possibility where hockey works in Arizona?
I think so.
Yeah, because you look at Florida. Yeah, that arena's bumping yesterday. 10 years ago, we were saying the same stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
they showed up.
Winning cures all.
They showed up in the 2012 Cup run. They carried over, or not the Cup run, but the playoff run. They carried over the whiteout. That's a thing still. I wonder if they still do that actually, because they haven't made the playoffs since the Jets came back to the league. Well, they're in their the Jets first year back, I think. But no, I mean, how is it any different from Vegas, where this was a question? The California teams, Dallas, when they first came into the league, winning cures all, like you said, Joe. If they start winning, and I really want them to start winning because they have an awesome identity, and it would just be cool to have another fun team out west to watch. It absolutely could cure all, but they have nothing in terms of leadership. There's no stability. They're like, I don't know what they're probably the most pathetic franchise in sports, quite frankly. I don't think there's really anybody else.
I mean,
the fact they're in a major league too, it's even.
I think that. Yeah, I think what like a Vegas did and what some of these Florida teams did was they really tried to make it a destination to go to a game.
Right.
I mean, Vegas didn't have to try too hard because Vegas is such a destination, and I just think that they somehow thought that Arizona was becoming a destination for a lot of snowbirds, which it probably is still, but they just didn't build. The NHL has just done such a bad job at marketing the game for the past 25 years that it never got there. And I think under this current leadership with this marketing team, that's just the old boys club that does not have any innovative ideas, that does not market the product to anyone but the made up fans they have in their head that don't exist. Just going to continue to find yourself in these situations where markets don't work when the team isn't fantastic. Because even when they're kind of good, it doesn't matter. When they're really good, yeah, obviously people will show up to the winner, but they need to make that a destination. And that's why I kind of like the Atlanta idea where they're like, what if we just build literally like a small city of sports complex in whatever area? I think that kind of thing works when you make it all encompassing. you make it a full kind of like it's like a brand thing. Like it's like an influencer thing to go to this, type of thing. And Vegas tried to do that. I think they were pretty successful, but obviously really good, which helped. But the NHL, I don't think it's going to work there in the short term, no matter what. I think that the politicians in Arizona kind of realize that, and they just don't seem interested, and they're probably lazy because most are, and they're just like, the easiest path is to just get rid of them. And that's the concern. And I think Gary Bettman's just unwilling to listen to that because he thinks he can bully them into what he wants because he's a narcissist.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
I'm
just pessimistic about that franchise, and I hate it.
Yeah.
Do you guys think that they'll actually approve this arena deal? Also, what else is in this proposition? Like, is it just the arena district, or are they getting I probably will never look at the whole proposition, but
the people seem pretty opposed to it, so I'm guessing it's pretty terrible.
Okay.
Did you guys see how someone graffitied the press conference spot with chalk saying say no to the bill when Bettman came in to speak?
Wow.
About it. Yeah. So the people don't care.
Yeah.
How many different cities have they played in as that franchise? Phoenix, Glendale. Now they're trying to do Tempe. They've been
ASU in Tempe too.
Yes, I think. Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
I think so.
I don't know. I think it can work, but man, this is the last resort. Because what else are you gonna do? Because you can't play at ASU in the Mullet Arena for however long it takes until you figure it out again.
No.
And honestly, I think Tempe is really the best option because
right.
I'm sorry.
Oh no, you go finish your thought. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, it's like what works in Columbus is Ohio State. I mean, I had a friend that went to Ohio State and they were just busing kids to games for nothing. Like the school would buy the tickets and they just had such a good connection. I think you kind of have to keep that with Arizona State. Like you have to keep that connection. You got to keep getting the students there, making it an event, making it hey, we're going to do, wear a mullet night. Literally, I know it's not Mullet Arena where they're going to play, but make these events and make this something really fun for all the students to get involved in, because that's how you sell it, I think. And,
do a frat night. Arizona State's the biggest party state or biggest party school in the nation.
I think you have to make it something of that nature and really try. But again, the NHL is run by morons that are not innovative. They won't do this stuff, and you're going to rely on that organization to do all the legwork, it's hard for me to see it getting there without really, really strong leadership in Arizona. And I have no idea if they have it. And by the looks of their ability to garner, the people to vote for them to stay, it doesn't feel like it's great if it's going this poorly. So it sounds to me like it's going to fail, but I have no idea. And the loudest voices are not always the majority. Like people that show up at town hall meetings are normally not normal people, not to be mean to anyone that's maybe showing up at a town hall meeting, but you either have a really good reason or you show up to a lot of these things because you have nothing better to do. So it's not maybe the best indicator, but it just feels like a bad sign that this organization cannot garner enough support for a major sports franchise. That just feels really, really bad. It's just hard. It's it seems obvious, but I don't know. So we'll see.
Just one more thought. I did see someone on Twitter, this is weeks ago, so I don't remember who it was that made this point. But pretty much saying, if you move the team to Canada, if you move the team to Quebec, you're not necessarily growing the game because everybody in Canada is a hockey fan, right? So maybe they're trying to grow the league by keeping it in Arizona and keeping it going. But I think that's a lousy argument. And I think if there's a brilliant, beautiful arena in Quebec City, the Videotron Center, I believe it's called.
Yes.
The money's there. It's if you're trying to maintain a professional look for your league, that's the destination, or Houston, because there's a lot of people
mentioned
there.
Houston before. Salt Lake City's been kicked around a little bit lately too. I've never thought about it, but they have the Utah Grizzlies in the ECHL. Maybe they can resurrect that to be an NHL team. I don't know, but they've been kicked around there too. I bet Houston's the betting favorite to get the Coyotes if they move, but
that would be a really cool. The Utah Jazz, who I think play in Salt Lake. They have an awesome arena. I don't know if it's outfitted for hockey, but that would be a really cool looking hockey arena because it's a really cool looking basketball arena.
On the 32 Thoughts pod, I'm pretty sure I think it was Friedman that said that Bettman met with the Jazz owner to talk about either, I don't know if it was relocation or expansion.
Yeah.
But the fact that, Luke, we've talked about this occasionally over the last couple of years, expansion. It gets poo-pooed a lot on Twitter, but I think it's gonna happen. It's inevitable. Influencers are putting up billion-dollar bids to buy the Ottawa Senators. What's the expansion fee going to be now? 1.2, 1.3? I don't know. I'm telling you, there's going to be 36 teams in the NHL in the next 20 years. It's going to happen. Whether you think it's a good idea or a bad idea, Gary Bettman doesn't care. All he sees is the dollar signs. Like, you bring in Quebec, you bring in Houston, Atlanta wants a third go at it. You bring in Salt Lake City. Listen,
if that's the case, maybe you just contract the Coyotes and get rid of them. I mean,
well, let's say the arena deal works out. They get Austin Matthews in a couple years, and their rebuild works, and then everything's fine. You got 32 functional, 34, 36 functional franchises.
Yeah, it's really just, it feels like exactly what Gary Bettman would do, though. It's like, you can't create organic growth in the league. You can't create this sort of like clear, it seems so easy too. Like, everyone seems to love hockey. There's so many avenues to grow the game without expansion, but they can't. So this is really his only option, it feels like, to keep the salary cap going up. It's like, we have to do it. I do think it's inevitable, but I think it's inevitable because of his failures. And this is his only way out to look good. And it's like, I don't love it, but I'm not going to, I'm just going to move on with my life. I clearly can't control it. Like, if we get 34 teams, all right, we have 34 teams now. Okay, sounds good. I thought we'd get to 32 at some point. We did. Once we got 31, obviously we're getting 32. 34, sure. But I just wish this league could grow on its own and not need this influx of money that actually doesn't create more hockey fans other than that one market. Like, it does, but not enough. It doesn't actually make hockey a bigger sport. And it's not taking eyes away from basketball and baseball. It's like, because the sport does such a bad job marketing its product.
Yeah.
That we can't do that. We have to grow this way. And it's like, great.
Just the city itself can't be the reason for the game growing. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. I'm telling you.
That's the way it is.
That's hockey in Atlanta again.
Yeah, he looks at it like a CEO.
Hockey in Atlanta again is going to be really funny. I think the Thrashers can work. Third time's the charm, baby.
I think so.
Yeah.
Come back.
It's like the 5th biggest city in America. How did it?
How can it not?
Like, again, it's just such an unbelievable. It's unfathomable. Like, you're given the population density of like 12, 15. I don't even know how many buffaloes. It's got to be. I don't know off the top of my head. Atlanta is a huge city. Like, I feel like we don't realize it until you see the 20th biggest city in the world, Atlanta, and you're like, no way, but it is. And it's like, this failed so quickly and fast. They just, in the middle of the night, left. It's like, how did this happen? Like, how did they not fire the commissioner of the league? You think that it's unbelievable.
I feel like since the Thrashers were in the league too, like, Atlanta has become more, I don't want to say popular, but more of like a culturally relevant city. Like, maybe that has to do with the boom of hip hop and how many rappers come out of there and stuff. But it feels like Atlanta is a bigger city, with like a more attractive city maybe than it was the last time the NHL was there. So just maybe that can contribute to it.
I'm looking at the top TV markets in North America for this year. Every city in the top, looks like 10 or 12 here, has a team except for Houston and Atlanta.
Wow.
So
you got to get in there. All the other leagues are there, right?
Yeah, basically. Mm-hmm. So it's gonna happen.
Yep.
There's too much smoke. Phoenix is the number 11
I kind of
TV market. How the fact that hockey is not working there, or they can't figure it out.
Maybe it's just
blows my mind.
Wow.
Maybe it's too desert-like.
Well, it's Glendale. if I didn't know the Coyotes played in Glendale, I would have never known that Glendale was a city in Arizona. No way.
It was Glendale, not Scottsdale. Then
Yeah,
they played. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, Buffalo's the 54th ranked
Mm-hmm.
media market
Mm-hmm.
in North America.
Yeah.
Like, they might be the smallest market team that has an NHL team, from what I'm seeing.
I'm just curious. Where's Sacramento in there?
Let me see.
Are they listed?
Give me a second here.
I know we've diverged quite off the path.
Buffalo is higher than Sacramento. I don't see them yet.
Huh. Well, anyway, that's all I need to know.
Yeah, I don't see them. Yeah. I'm sure I just glazed by it, but oh well.
Yeah. All right. Well, anything else we should touch on?
I don't know. This was fun.
This is
fun
very
hanging
fun.
out.
Who's winning the cup? I don't know. Cup predictions, and we'll get out of here.
Yeah.
At this point, we have a
Kraken.
favorite? I mean,
give me the Kraken.
What was your? Did you guys have a pre-start cup prediction? I don't know if I missed that. I don't know if you.
I mean, we might have. I might have called Edmonton. I don't know.
I
had Edmonton beating New Jersey, so I'm still alive.
Oh, that's my dream final. I want to see Edmonton, New Jersey, the questionable goaltending matchup, the high scoring, the fast pace. I want that. That's what I want. But I think Florida has that 2012 Kings team of destiny energy around them.
Yeah, that's the vibe I'm getting. But I think a Western Conference final of Seattle and Vegas would be really interesting too. The two newest teams. That'd be a really fun storyline.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, it goes back to expansion. These prospective owners are going to be salivating at that.
Mm-hmm. The rules are fair.
Within a year,
I think
within a year, we're going to be getting smoke about that. It's going to happen.
It definitely felt like going into this round, the consensus was definitely Edmonton. I think, honestly, Carolina, New Jersey felt like a bit more of a toss-up than I thought, but everyone was on Toronto. Everyone was on Dallas. Like, no one thought Seattle had a chance, except for me, who picked them, of course. And I was just thinking, like, I was Game 7. I was like, Vegas is going to make it to Game 7 against Edmonton. They're going to do it.
Yeah.
But I think McDavid gets it done. I just don't see how Vegas, like, they're just a little bit too one-dimensional, I think, at forward. They're finding the goals right now, but if that falls off even a little bit in the back, they're back 6, yeah, it could be over. So I think Edmonton finds a way, and that Seattle series with Edmonton, I think, would be also a lot of fun because, again, it's still an expansion team versus, like, the best player in the world. Like, I want to see him on that stage so bad. But okay, Luke, I think I kind of cut you off with your prediction.
No. I think I said it. I think Florida might pull it off. Florida Edmonton will also be a really fun series. I want Edmonton, but I think Florida might be a team of destiny right now. That game, by the way, right now as we speak, it is 1-1 between Oilers and Vegas. And here comes McDavid on a breakaway, and he stopped. Rebound, wide. Oh, and Brisebois hurt.
Ooh.
Brisebois hurt.
Yep.
He's holding his face.
What do you guys think happens to Toronto when they get eliminated here?
Dubas. Well, the thing is,
I don't even know. It's honestly,
I don't even know if firing Dubas would do anything because, like, you have
his contract is up. His contract is up. Maybe they do a mutual parting of ways.
With, like, the state that they're in, though, if you bring in a GM, I feel like you're only doing one thing, and that's getting rid of money and getting rid of players and trying to fix the mess.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Change.
Like,
Well, Matthews and Nylander going in the last year of their deals.
Mm-hmm.
Marner and Tavares got one more year after that. I don't know.
Well, the Tavares deal is already up.
Yeah, it's just a sticky situation for sure. And if you lose, like, say you lose Matthews, like maybe they keep Matthews, but you lose Nylander, and then you lose Tavares after that. Yeah, sure, you got the cap space, but where are your prospects coming up? Where are your draft picks? Like, you're not going to replenish your team, really. So it's going to be interesting. Sabres are on the rise. Senators are on the rise.
Mm-hmm.
Detroit is on the rise. Florida is still a young team. They're good, clearly. So I don't know what happens at Toronto. It's going to be interesting to see. I bet they extend Dubas, though. But getting swept after beating Tampa, I don't know. I feel like that erases all that has been done.
Is Keefe gone, though? I think Keefe has to be out. I don't think winning one series
he's got to go.
saves you.
He's got to go.
Gerard Gallant.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
That's
I wonder
mean,
if they bring him in.
No. I mean, you watched that overtime was just a perfect encapsulation of a team that just was not there. I mean, they were so timid and they did nothing, and then just like it was like I can't imagine watching that as a Maple Leafs fan and just watching this season basically end, and like no one put up a fight in overtime because no one wanted to make a mistake, and then no one touched Reinhart. It's like, how did you let him go? I don't know. I really don't know. There's really nothing to say anymore. That team they're just lifeless in pressure situations. Yep. You have to fire the coach. I mean, I think they got to do something in the top 6. I mean, I think this is the perfect time to cut bait on Tavares if possible, because he looked a lot better this year, but it just isn't happening. He's not your captain. You got to move on. I don't know.
Would you take Tavares on Buffalo?
I honestly feel bad at this point. I don't think we need him. I mean, he is still a very good hockey player, and he still very much will help any team he goes to. I don't know where he fits into the Sabres roster. Like, you're going to get Bump Cousins out. I mean, he's not taking over for Tage. Tage is just better at this point. So
third line
you're bumping
center.
Cousins out of your top 6 to. He's not going to take that. I think he finds a better landing spot. I just don't think that's what the Sabres want to do right now. I really don't.
Right.
He's coming into a team to be a captain somewhere. His contract's
back to
up.
the island.
It's up. You're saying
two or three more years.
2 or 3.
Yeah, because
I feel like if you
next
could
year,
move him though.
Yeah,
if it's
get
possible.
the cap space.
I don't even know if you can though. Oh my god, I don't know. I really don't know. I hope they do something stupid though and trade like Nylander, who is just unbelievably talented. That would be the best.
Identity.
He's not
crisis.
coming to Buffalo, but
go after some goons.
I can't. They did though, and they caught again. They did this. They go out and get Luke Schenn. He murders the goaltender because he can't keep up with his mark. He just loses his guy, dives into the goalie. I'm just like, and no one seemed to comment on the fact that Luke Schenn, if he just held his ground, would not have murdered Samsonov. But they go out and get him. Justin Hull's on the blue line in overtime, who cannot skate, loses Reinhart. It's just like, great. Like, yeah, they had a lot more hits in the playoffs than they did last year. That's fantastic. I guess it helped them win round 1, but man, they're getting embarrassed in round 2. It doesn't matter. They get Noel Acciari. He has 8 hits a game. Well, they're not winning. So cool. Congratulations to all the people that, for beating this drum, because they got exactly what they asked for. Outscored in the playoffs by the moment a goaltender stepped up, was going to happen inevitably. They have nothing to show for it. Bobrovsky's been unbelievable in this series, and they're dead.
It goes to that
I just feel
common.
bad. I feel bad.
That common regular season theme of the teams with the most hits are always at the bottom of the league.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, boys, this was fun.
Yes.
DJ, you're welcome on anytime.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming on short notice.
Invite me
We
on
figured
anytime.
we'd just extend the invite. It's funny. We've been live the whole time.
No,
I had no jitters.
Yeah.
It went away.
Yeah, for the handful of people watching.
I'm not really that.
Hope you enjoyed.
It's not like you got the biggest guest in the world. It's not like it's like, oh, it's not like you got the highest, craziest guest ever. What are you gonna be nervous about? I put on a stupid Bedard jersey I made in 4 minutes. Let's have a good time. So
we were nervous
anytime.
because this was our first time live. So it was just we didn't know if we'd get trolls or anything. But no, I'm thinking this is off the top of my head. Draft comes around. If I'm available, I'd love to at least produce a roundtable with all the guys here because we could have up to like 10 people on a stream. I think
we're doing
people,
that.
So
100%.
Yeah, I won't have anything.
Yeah, I mean, let's touch base on the watch playback with me because that's what our plan is right now, and it worked really well. I mean, like I said, people need to log in, but it's real seamless. Yeah. It looks a little bit better than this site. I'm not going to lie. I'm not really sure what the site is, but we'll go over it. And I'm definitely going to do the drinking game. So if you want to make a mock draft, and even if you're not drinking beer, you can drink whatever you want. We tell everyone that you don't need to have a beer, but just tracking your sips. So then everyone kind of has an even playing field for how good they did. And the NFL draft gets a lot of coverage, and you think it'd be easier than it is. And I had 9 of the top 10 in the top 10 not correctly, and I still ended up with 285 sips. It's just it's really hard. It's really hard. So no, it'll be fun. We'll have that made, and we'll have we have some macros we're putting in it now. So it's gonna be really, you can just click and put your players. It's gonna be really useful and intuitive. So we'll get something together. It'll be fun.
Joe, maybe I could do wasabi peas, seeing as I hate them so much.
Oh yes, I'll never forget that.
That's a story going back to our college days. Yeah.
Oh man. All right. I say we wrap it up here. Thank you for the handful of people that watched live. Hope you enjoyed. For everyone watching after the fact or listening, hope you enjoyed as well. Give us a follow on Twitter, Joe Marino TCB, LVKE TCB, and DJ_Mitchell. DJ, thanks for hopping on with us on such short notice. Again, welcome on anytime.
All right. Thank you.